story of Lore is a great one. There's a lot behind Lore. It even has a tagline as "Wool is Story." So I love telling the story of Lore. We had just recently relocated to the UK. We live in a place called Cumbria, and there are pastures and pastures of beautiful sheep in the fields, and I started looking for yarn made from these sheep and soon learned that there wasn't any because it was produced mostly used for the carpet industry, and the lambs were used for the meat industry. So I couldn't find yarn that was produced in these lovely sheep around here, and I started looking for others because the idea was to create a yarn, again, with a real strong sense of place. There's always a sense of place with all of our products. We're here in beautiful Cumbria, and if our local sheep here in Cumbria weren't right, maybe there were some somewhere else in the British Isles that we could use the fibre to create a lovely woolen spun yarn that could be a kind of workaday type yarn, really vintage look to it, that you could produce garments that had a traditional look to them. So we set off on that adventure of trying to find a mill that we could work with and the right fiber. So we found the mill first, which was good because we were a little bit lost for the right fibers, because the sheep that we ended up using, the breed is called Kent lambswool, and there aren't any local to us here. So we had to go a little bit farther afield to find that breed of sheep, and the mill was very instrumental in helping us sort that out. So once we found our woolen spinner, and we chose the woolen spun versus the worsted spin because we wanted that traditional vintage look and have something be very lofty and a nice sweater weight kind of yarn. And so once we found the woolen spinner, we started working with them and we identified the fiber, and then it was off to sorting out the color process. And the one thing we like also about working with a woolen spinner is the kind of colors you can create by using fibers that are dyed prior to the spinning process, because you can mix up lots of different colors and get these beautiful heather rich tones with lots of depth of color and the kind of yarns that knitters just like to put on their needles and get so much pleasure as they knit along and see, why does my yellow yarn have purple in it? Oh, well, if it didn't, it wouldn't be as nice as it is, you know, and you see those little hints of other colors as you go along. So that was the other part that was really enticing to us. The color development is actually really the funnest part of my job. I love to do it. We actually go to the mill to do it, and the reason why it's so much fun is because when you literally walk into this mill, the first thing you see is a wall full, this massive wall full of hundreds of colors of wool that is primarily used just for color development. We wanted a rich, deep, dark green. We don't want to just go find a dark green on this wall. We want to create that dark green. So what colors could be mixed together to end up with a rich dark green, nuanced with shades and other colors would pop out. What we chose after several iterations of multiple colors were to use these four colors: an olive green, this bright one, an orange, and a black. And then these fibers were all mixed together and to something that looked like this, that we then used our fingers to spin a little bit of yarn so that it went from this to that. And we said, yeah, we like that color. This ended up being a color that we call ambitious, and this is what it looks like once it's prepared and in a 100-gram twisted hank. And because this yarn is so wonderful for doing color work, we also have all of the colors available in these 25-gram balls that are easy for you to use multiple colors. If you want to have 5 colors in a garment, no problem. Just, you know, you can use these cute little 25-gram mini donut balls for that.